in terms of Anglo or Caucasian performers, phenomenal actors on screen with our entertainers, people who could rap. Not our best thespians. So it was about who was more popular at the time. So it became you had celebrities on screen with thespians. And so, of course, the Oscar-winning performances aren't necessarily going to go to, and I love them, but Ludacris is not winning an Oscar. Right. It's not going to happen.
Never.
Tyrese may win one. He may, because he's very emotional. And I can see it, but he'll probably get it online first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the truth. I love Dwayne Johnson. He's the #1 paid actor in the world right now. He's phenomenal, but he's really understanding his lane right now. I love to go to the movies and see him throw somebody through a window. Don't want to see him crying huddled in the corner. You know what I mean? So now we're getting to a place where our thespians, our performers, really deep actors are getting nominated and winning those awards. And I don't think it was such a campaign that somebody was trying to keep you out. It was just we were not seeing the best of the best. You know, and now it's getting to where people with a different skill set are being shown and highlighted. Like we're getting back to a little bit more true performers getting in front of the camera. And part of that is us coming together and deciding who's going to be in the film, not based on popularity, but based on who's the best for this job. Because it's not too many people from any genre that you can put, on screen with Christian Bale, and he's not going to crush you. You know what I mean? It's just that's just the way it is. We want to see the best of the best, and that's all of us.
So we got collaborations are very valuable.
Yes.
But of course with some thought and intent behind it, not just frivolous collaborations. But don't bypass collaborations because you're so intent on the money. Because what if that puts you in a different bracket? What if that relationship turns into a Ryan Coogler and a Michael B. Jordan situation where you guys are constantly creating, you guys are key people, and the budget is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So always assess each thing on a case-by-case basis. That's your phrase.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to, because you said you're behind the camera person as well. So I want you to answer this from two perspectives. As a talent, what do you look for in bringing on a talent to production, and what do you pride yourself on bringing to the production as a talent?
So, and this one's a hard pill for those of us that are actors in the room to swallow sometimes. You are not right for every role. Even if you think you are right for every role, you are not. One thing I like to talk about in terms of production is like when I'm on a production that's very good, they say, man, this is coming out really well. I'm like, sometimes it just comes together. And I'm like, well, you guys got something right that you can't fix in post, and that's casting. Because when you mess it up from the beginning, you just set yourself behind the curve. And when you get casting right, it's a big deal. And you may be phenomenal, a phenomenal actor. And I love your take, but he's right for it. I'm looking for Tony. You ain't Tony. Kenneth ain't in this movie. I'm looking for Tony. You know what I mean? So he may have exactly what we're looking for in terms of. There's a few things that get you a job in this industry, and it's look, name, and talent. Okay? And your look doesn't mean you look good or bad. It means, do you look like this character? Your name. What does your name bring? There's certain names that bring to an audience, hey, as soon as I hear that name in the film, I wanna check it out. I wanna be a part of it. And so your name, carrying some weight does get you somewhere. And talent. Sometimes you are just so phenomenal that you're gonna stand out in one way or another. Now, so when I'm looking to cast a particular project, the first thing I'm looking for is, do you fit the mold of what I wrote? Can you embody this character? Can you give us what we're looking for? And now there are some particular times where there's something amazing that you do, that I'm like, I have to find a role for you. and I'll try to squeeze it in. But it may not be this movie. It may be something down the line. But don't feel taken aback if someone that you know is producing something and you're not in it. It's not for lack of love. It's that the product has to come first. You know, they did a really phenomenal movie that won a lot of awards this past season called Moonlight. And my management sent me the script. I thought it was phenomenal. And they wanted me to come in for a director session for it. And I looked at the role. I thought the script was great. I said, I can't do it. This is not me. I get it. I think it's gonna be great. I'm not gonna do that. And somebody should get this that is going to do it and be bananas at it. And they did. And I'm a huge fan of it. But I know that wasn't my role. You know, it's not for me. So I think as performers, I think I've gotten further in my career, honestly, from the roles I didn't take than the ones I did. You know, we have to understand what's right for us sometimes. Everything is not for you.
So not being afraid to say no.
Right.
Everything doesn't have to have a yes, which leads me to, there are some people who have the philosophy of, well, until I get where I'm gonna go, I'm going to audition for everything and say yes to everything and just keep working because I'm bound to be seen. There are other people who have the philosophy of, I'm going to be more selective and only work toward a definite goal. So you have two different mental paradigms here that are trying to progress toward the same goal. Is this another situation where it's a case by case, or do you think one is like a hamster wheel and one is a little bit lazy? Give us your insight on that.
Well, no, it really depends on you. I chose this career. I chose this lifestyle. I'm not going to choose to do anything that I don't want to do. There's no point in me saying, hey, I'm going to stop. I was in the Marines before I started acting, and I was in the restaurant business, and then I did door-to-door sales. And what else? I did some of everything. I experienced, you know, kind of almost everything. I did investment, real estate, everything. If I decide to stop doing those things to do this, I'm not going to do this and then choose a job that I hate. Doesn't make any sense. You know, it's not self-serving. So I don't particularly, that's not my path to say yes to everything. I'll audition for almost anything, but I'm not gonna necessarily take those jobs. In some cases, you audition for jobs that you know you're not gonna take because you want those production companies to see you. You know, you wanna be the one to turn down the job and say, hey, you know what, this is really cool, but not right now, let's do something in the future. They look at you like, oh. Okay, this wasn't good enough for him. And I know, you know, and that's not necessarily your motive for doing it, but you know, when you look at any relationship, okay, I'll put it to you like this. Oh, now you want to come and then mess up everything. So I'll put it to you like this. If you're out and you're partying and there's a guy and he's running over to you and he's all over you the entire time, how do you feel right now?
I'm like a gingerbread man overall.
Now, I've described nothing about him, whether he's her type, what kind of conversation it was, anything like that. There's no description of him other than he's all over her. She's uncomfortable. She's taken aback. She's on defensive. Now there's someone else across the room, and they glance at you, smile, and keep it moving. You're suddenly possibly intrigued. We have to approach some of these relationships like that. You do not have to be all over producers and directors. In fact, it's a turnoff. You know what I mean? And sometimes accepting everything makes you look like you'll take anything, which means you'll get just anything. So being more selective is kind of the way. Even in the case of, we know about the Harvey Weinstein situation, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of the names that are coming out, it's like, oh man, all these successful women, you know, have alleged that he came after them, and they have these stories about how hard it was, you know, what they had to go through when they turned him down. They turned him down, and they are A-listers. We got to think about that. It's not a coincidence because he did successfully, right? And we don't hear about those cases as much as we hear about the A-listers that are like, no, I had to go through that situation and turn it down. I've seen personally situations where, when people come after you and put you in uncomfortable situations, you're like, hey, no, that's not why I'm here. That's not what this is about. And they're like, oh, no. It was all professional. I'll show you. I'll have you read for this. They have to go back and prove, otherwise. So you don't have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations or be all over somebody to get what you want. In fact, it's quite the opposite. And that is also in terms of accepting jobs and auditioning for jobs. You don't have to take everything. In fact, not taking everything makes you, put you on a little bit different plane. I'll take this kind of job, I won't take this one. You talk about Osiris. Osiris was a phenomenal web series I did with Pyramid Pictures. And it won a lot of awards. We had a lot of fun on it. And they're friends of mine now, but when I auditioned for the role, it's called Osiris. I went in for the lead character of Osiris, and I read for it. On my way out the door, they stopped me and said, can we get you to read for this other character on it? We think you might fit that. I said, no, I appreciate it. I came here for Osiris, and if it's not that, I'm not interested, but you guys have fun. And I left. And they had a discussion in the room after I left about that they told me about later, and they said, an actor should want to take whatever we give them because they should want to perform. And the director, who's also the writer, said, "No, Osiris would have said the same thing." That's how I ended up, getting the role. So it is a case-by-case basis, but you determine who you are at the end of the day.
Okay. Let's have a couple of specific acting questions, and then I'll take a question. So when it comes to technique versus a more organic approach. You have some actors, because this is the entertainment business, entertainers who come on as actors who've never taken a class, who have gotten coaching when necessary. And then you have some people who drill it really hard, who are hardcore craftsmen and thespians. The dynamic there, what's your core belief in that?
My belief is that different people need different things. Michael Vick didn't need a speed coach the same way Eli Manning did, but he did need extra time learning plays. So, I think we know some of our strengths and weaknesses. Signing up for sitcom didn't necessarily need a comedy class. I understood comedic timing, where other people needed to work on that a little bit. For me, I work my whole cast. If you guys are familiar with Demetria McKinney and Robin Lee. Morgana Van Peebles, who are Jasmine Guy, who are the ladies on my series right now, they can drop a tear in a heartbeat. And I'll get distracted in a scene watching them cry. I'm like, am I here too? Because for me to cry in a scene, I gotta really feel it. You know what I mean? That is not my strong suit. But I understand me and know where I am to know what I need in order to get to a specific place within a scene. That's a strength for them. When they start crying, I'm like, oh shit. Where's Kid? I'm like, oh shit. It's that kind of day because it's gonna be a heavy day for me because I don't turn on and off like a switch. I'm gonna be wallowing that whole day. I'm like, I'm go home, eat a pizza or something. I feel like I was just doing a breakup. But
so it's important to identify your strengths and weaknesses as a talent, so you can know where to pull in order to pull it out.
So when it comes to who needs classes and who doesn't, I don't think it's necessarily just about the classes. I recommend anyone who gets started in the business to take classes so they can have some familiarity. But on the flip side of that, I've known people who've been taking classes for 5 to 10 years and are like, I'm still not ready. And the industry meets you where you're at to a certain extent. You're gonna get certain types of roles. I've got my best training on a set because you have to push yourself beyond certain limits. Mario Van Peebles directs my show. So if you guys know him, he's directing Panther and Posse and New Jack City.
Yeah.
You know that he is, in our community, he is a legendary director. And he hasn't stayed, in where he had his biggest movies those years ago. He's evolved over the years. It's phenomenal. And as an actor, at the same time, he understands the nuances that you need in order to have certain kind of performances come out. That's a learning experience for me every day. And I keep telling him, like, Mario, challenge me. Give me exactly what you want. After take, that was good. Was it good? Or can we do better? So I'm always pushing for more. So, you have to know yourself and see exactly what you need. But I'll tell you like this, Leonardo DiCaprio trains as an actor. He's phenomenal. He's one of my favorite all time. But when Leonardo DiCaprio was a young kid performing on screen, he was already phenomenal. He already had it. You know what I mean? He didn't need 20 years of classes to get to where he had that thing. That's what that's what your director's there for, to guide that special talent. But I'll say that acting is kind of like singing, in that if you're a good singer, you can sing something and it sounds good even untrained. Training will help you get better and more control. If you're not a good actor at all, training will help you get better, but you're not necessarily going to perform the way she does. You know what I mean? Because she has a little bit of a natural advantage that's going to get her a little further. But we can always get better. But I can practice and train every day. I can hire a private basketball coach and I can get better, but I will never be LeBron. You know what I mean? He's got a different skill set than I could probably beat him.
You gotta be intentional.
I could probably beat him.
I want to take in closing. I want to take a couple of questions from the audience.
1 out of 10.
For Mr. Brad James, we'll start with this young lady here.
I have a question about representation. When did you decide that you needed management in LA, and also as an addendum to that, with co-star roles? I mean, this is a town of co-stars. Your agents are sending you out for.
Okay, wait, one at a time. Okay, let's go to the first one.
Representation.
So for me, when you talk about my representation in LA, because you're talking about managed by 360, Nils Larson. So I got with Nils Larson. He was still with Principato and Young at the time. It was a really great management firm. They produced a lot of content. I wanted to get with a manager who also produced content because as a filmmaker, I knew I wanted to make stuff eventually, even if I wasn't doing it at the time. Principato and Young, they put Blackish on TV. They're producers behind that. They represented a lot of people in the comedy space, and I was on a sitcom at the time. So I was already on a sitcom by the time I was managed by Nils and Principato. He transitioned over to Management 360 and said, hey, do we want to make this jump together? I said, okay, let's make that jump together, because they manage a whole different tier. So it went from, hey, we produce Blackish, great show, to we produce Game of Thrones, #1 show in the world. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, let's do this. Let's go along with this kind of transition, because for me, great, we can build a fan base, great rapport, I can get great experience on certain types of sets. But now I'm on like I said, an action sci-fi series, which we're looking to turn into some other different things, because I look at myself personally as a business. That's one thing we've got to do, is look at your individual brand as a business, because that'll tell you how to approach yourself. Because you two aren't going to have the same approach to your career, because your business is different than your business. You guys have a completely different product, which is uniquely you, right? So when I decided to get with Nils as far as management, I was already on a sitcom, and it made sense because his client base was so good that I didn't want to be the one that was forgotten about, because I didn't really have anything going. Now I'm also with Joy Purvis here in Atlanta, so I get to be a truly bi-coastal actor, and I don't have to be on both coasts. Again, not physically chasing anything by moving or uprooting my life. It's me being represented in both coasts. So that made sense for me to have management out there and an agent out here. I got an agent out here as soon as I possibly could, because that's how I was going to get the kind of work that I wanted. I stood a better chance of getting it. So in terms of pursuing representation, I would say ASAP. If you're taking it as a career choice, you want to go ahead and get good, positive representation. Oh, sorry. She's got
You can't do that. It's self-moderated.
She had an addendum, I'm sorry.
Okay, one last question, then we're wrapped up.
She got
No, it's okay.
Wait.
I won't be selfish.
Okay.
I'll ask you later.
No, this young lady first.
Okay, as far as, she mentioned something about representation a few moments ago, and I've kind of been on 4 here in Atlanta and in LA. So when I first moved here, which was about 3 months ago, I signed with an agent because I went to a casting call. And you know, you had to pay for it through the Eventbrite, I believe the ticket company is or whatever. Make a long story short, I haven't booked one audition with her yet. I feel, and I mean, my contract is exclusive. This is my second contract, but this is my first agent. I managed myself, God is the manager me up until and I'm trying to.
Is it guy manager?
God's working on me.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait, just to make sure I understand it, you paid for the
He's
casting?
pulling me where I need to be for the
Okay,
workshop.
Did you say you paid to audition, or you paid for the casting or the opportunity?
I met with a casting director and paid for that. Now, an agent came later on in the afternoon.
Okay. So it's like a workshop. It's a workshop.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And your question is about, is this legit or is this?
What would you do if you were in my situation? You know, you haven't landed one audition other than the ones that you were booking for yourself.
When you say, so have you gotten auditions?
The ones that I booked, yes.
What, have they sent you auditions?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk after because I need to know kind of some specifics, like
Absolutely.
who it is and the types of auditions to see if it's worth it. Because you know, for your major roles, there's an average. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 people are probably auditioning for the same role. So you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to book. But at the same time, I ignore statistics. You know, because I went on a streak. I think I booked 8 out of 10. You know, in a streak because I ignore. Because you ignore the statistics. But there's a lot of people that are kind of up for the same things. If it's a certain kind of casting and audition, you know, really what you want to look at is, are they getting me the kind of stuff that I can't get on my own? If you can't get it on your own, then they serve no real purpose in that respect. But we'll talk after.
The other thing is that it's an exclusive contract, so it will be important to review that paperwork and what are the terms? Is it a 1 year or 2 years?
1 year.
1 year. How far into that year are you?
3 months.
Well, you can always break your contract.
So yeah.
6 months, especially if you overbooked anything, you can leave at any time.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're doing anything.
So
What's
what's your
name?
name?
Contacted Actors Access.
Tamia? Tamika. Okay, so we'll probably dip and dab in that a little bit later, some particulars. Tamika has a question.
Yes, like you mentioned, getting an agent as soon as possible. Oftentimes they say, well, you're not ready yet, you don't have a body of work and things. How do you sort of counteract that opposition?
Well, who's telling you you're not ready?
Some agents, they'll say, like I've heard agents say, well, if you don't have a certain amount of work, you're not ready. And I'm more on the director and producer side, so
Right.
that could be different for actors. I'm not sure, but I'm just curious.
Well, it is. It is a little different. If you're an agent representing a director, you're representing, and you're not a named director. An agent, Tyler Perry doesn't act. An agent can represent Tyler Perry as a director based on his name, right? But if you're an unknown director, an agent is representing your work. So if you don't have the work that they feel they can get paid off of, because they're in the business to make money, and you want them to be in the business to make money because that's how they work hard for you and get you paid. So if you don't have if they're telling you you're not ready, that simply means they have not yet seen something that they believe in enough to say that they want to represent it. And it may be that you have a phenomenal short film that needs to be a feature, because they can't make money off of a short, they can make money off of a feature. So they have to, it's not about you not being ready, but it's about you saying, hey, I got to get something done in order to give them something to represent. You know, that's so it's a little different from an actor standpoint. If they're telling you you're not ready, that's one person's opinion as an actor about where you are in your just in your castability. You know, can they put you in the room with other actors and you stand a really good chance of booking the work. You know, so that's what we need to work a little more. But on the filmmaker side, you have to have a product for them to represent. And I would actually prefer to do, if I were you, I'd be looking more for management than necessarily an agent, because you want to something that you make sold. If you sell your movie, they're gonna come to you for representation, not the other way around. So it's a little different.
Absolutely. So thank you all for joining us for the Cast Me If You Can workshop. This is Brad James. Make sure to look for his show.
Superstition, on demand and Friday nights on Sci-Fi Network.
Awesome. Can they find you on Instagram?
No,
No?
I'm just kidding. At Mr. Brad James.
At what?
Mr. Brad James. Mr. Brad James on everything. Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff.
And I'm Nikki Lachey. You guys can find me on Instagram at It's Nikki Lachey. Did you say It's Brad James or just Brad?
Mr. Brad, stop making
Okay.